Fly, Eagles, fly, and they are flying high right now. A 2-0 start. First time since 2016 the Birds got off to a 2-0 start. And another weird thing, the New York Giants are 2-0 as well. Could they be for real? I mean, their games haven't been pretty so far, but they did stun the Titans. Although, I don't think the Titans are quite the same team, because, damn, did you all see what Buffalo did to them? I mean, damn, they're smacked down. The Bills' smackdown of the Titans was even worse than what the Eagles did to the Vikings. And yeah, what did the Eagles do to the Vikings? Woo! They absolutely kicked their ass. I mean, I tell you what, I was skeptic about this game. I thought it would be close down to the wire. I mean, the Eagles have not done well against Minnesota, at least not in the not in the last two meetings they've had against them. I mean, oh my God, the way they were whooping them from start to finish, it was almost reminiscent of the NFC Championship game when the Eagles won the Super Bowl that year. And I tell you what, yeah, like I thought after the Eagles got out to a 7-0 start on their opening drive, I thought, oh man, don't tell me this is going to be a reverse of fortunes. Now the Vikings are going to blow them out. Didn't happen. Like the Eagles were on the pedal from start to finish, and they did not let up. Jalen Hurts is the freaking man. Like I'm watching the highlights right now. There's his first rushing touchdown. His second one was even more impressive. He was like, 10 yards out and fought his way in. And like Michael Vick there at like the 5-yard line or something, stretched out and was centimeters off the ground. Oh my goodness, he got me some buku fantasy points. I mean, the kid did it all. Like on the ground, in the air, spread the ball around this time. Like in week 1, A.J. Brown was his main target. But in week 2 against the Vikings, like everybody got a piece of that football. Devontae Smith had the most receptions. Goddard had some pretty nice plays. And of course, you know, the ground game led by Sanders and Scott chewing up clock there in the second half. Yeah, really, what a tale of two halves. Like, the first half was completely all Hurts in the offense. They put up all the points that the defense needed, and they took over the second half. Although the Eagles' offense was still moving the ball in the second half, should have had more fucking points. But this officiating crew, what the hell was their deal, man? Were they from Minnesota or what? Because holy shit. Like, how many fucking penalties can you call against the Birds that are so, like, ticky-tack? I mean, is some of them, like, called for the... I mean, how many ineligible downfield penalties do the Eagles have in that game? I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, those guys were barely even, like, a yard or two up the field. They were just trying to block. I mean, holy fuck, dude. Let them play the game. Let them do their job. Like, listen, like, I hope the NFL Mafia or whoever gets a hold of these officiating crews and say, listen, nobody wants to see the zebras, okay? Or like the NFL was telling these guys, listen, let's slow this Eagles team up, okay? This game was supposed to be a good game, and they are just, like, embarrassing the Vikings. So, like, no matter what they did to try and, like, kill the mojo for the Eagles, it just wasn't happening. It was Philly's night, baby. But I tell you what, I wasn't taking anything for granted because of all the crazy comebacks that happened on Sunday. You know, you had the Jets coming back to stun the Browns. The Dolphins came back to stun the Ravens. The Cardinals came back to beat the Raiders in overtime. So, yeah, I wasn't taking anything for granted. Like, the Vikings are a better team than what we saw on Monday night. And I was waiting for something to happen, and they were certainly getting a lot of opportunities to get back in that game. With the officials, the blocked field goal on Jake Elliott, and, of course, the one errant pass by Hurts that got intercepted. I mean, oh my God, the Vikings had so many chances to get back into that game, and that's when Darius Slay and company took over and said, no, go fuck yourself. This is our house. This is our night. Like, no, not happening. I mean, Slay just owned Jefferson that night. crazy. And I kept waiting for penalties to come flying. Like, there I was just bitching about the officials being against the Eagles, yet there were no pass interference penalties for every time the Eagles smacked that ball out of the Vikings wide receiver's hands. I mean, I was waiting for it. But yeah, wow, just I couldn't believe it. I was enjoying every moment of it. Oh my God. I was screaming. I was jumping off that couch. I don't know if I even sat down once for that game. I probably did in the second half, but still. Fun fucking night to be an Eagles fan. Kicked the Vikings' ass 24-7. The final score should have been 38-7, just like the NFC Championship game. And we can thank the fucking officials for like denying the Eagles any more points. But those 24 points they got in the first half was all they needed, and then the defense took over from there. It is one area of concern for me that the Eagles have yet to score in the fourth quarter, so that's going to be critical down the road. And, you know, I like Jalen Hurts. I absolutely love this kid. He continues to impress me week in, week out, and he's definitely a smart dual threat QB. Like, in the post-game interview, he said, like, you know, there's still a few things we can improve on. So, yeah, like, this kid ain't satisfied yet. I'm glad to see and hear that. So, let's see what happens next week. It's going to be their first divisional opponent. They're heading into D.C. to face, for the first time ever, the Washington Commanders. Now, I know it's not the first time ever, but it's the first time ever with their new nickname. The Commies. Oh, man. They're never going to live that down. But you know what? It's fitting. You know, a joke of a nickname for a joke of an organization run by one of the most despicable men on the planet Earth. And until Dan Snyder just disappears, like, Washington is just not going to achieve respect ever again. Now, how do I feel about the Eagles' chances in D.C.? Well, after seeing them kick the shit out of the Vikings, I feel absolutely confident they can win this game. I don't want to be too overconfident because, after all, it's a divisional opponent, and we all know how those games can go, especially when it's Washington. So we'll see what happens. You know, Carson Wentz is the quarterback, so will it be a revenge game for him? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what happened to this guy after 2017. I mean, damn, man. I had such high hopes for Carson Wentz once upon a time. But, you know, when he suffered that season-ending injury in 2017, like, I think he was forever traumatized, just never recovered. But you don't take him lightly, though, still. Like, at times he still shows brilliance. Again, the Eagles play the way they did against the Vikings. They should handle the Commanders quite easily. I feel confident in saying that. I'd say a final score of like maybe 34-21. I gotta be somewhat of a realist. Might even be closer. But even if the Commanders do try to make a comeback like they did against Detroit as well as Jacksonville, at least we know the Eagles have the team they need to put the game away, chew up that clock with their ground assault, led by Hurts, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and there's even Gaines. So yeah, I feel absolutely confident the Birds should win this game and win it quite easily. The defense, I mean, they shut down Justin Jefferson. I don't give a damn who the hell Washington has. Slay and company should be able to handle them. And of course, there's the Eagles' pass rush. They made life a living hell for Kirk Cousins. So, you know damn well they'll do the same to Carson Wentz. So like I said, the Eagles should have no problems winning this game, but you never know. Would be nice to see the offense score a few points or more in the fourth just to help the defense out. But again, I feel confident that they have what they need to go up 3-0. Oh man, just a fun. It was just so awesome to watch that. It's the kind of game you can watch over and over and over and still enjoy every fucking moment of it. But I think we're gonna wrap this up here. Let's go Birds. Fly Eagles fly. Bleed green. Let's go kick Carson Wentz's ass and go up 3-0. And, one more positive note to end on the night. The Phillies ended their 5-game losing streak. Thank fucking God. Like, goddamn, what's going on, Phillies? You picked a hell of a time to go into a slump. I mean, son of a bitch. Like, I think they're only like maybe 2-3 games up on Milwaukee for the last wild card spot. It's like, son of a bitch. Like, they went from being the top wild card to the middle. Now they're just on the, hanging on the fucking edge. So, thank freaking God. Matt Verling, holy moly, 5-hit night, hits the game-winning walk-off RBI to lift the Phillies over the Blue Jays and split that 2-game series. And thank freaking God, because now the Phillies only have 4 games left at home, and it's against the Atlanta Braves, who just swept them in the last last meeting down in Atlanta. So, yeah, let's hope the Phillies can take a couple from them. I mean, that would be nice. Nice that they could end their last homestand in a win, like 3 out of 4 at least. I mean, the Phillies just cannot afford to lose. Cannot afford to go on another losing streak like that. Just cannot. All right? You got to finish strong, Phillies, because after this, you got a lot of road games. Granted, they're against the Cubbies and the Nats. Doable wins for you all. And then they end it with 3 at Houston. So, sheesh. It's a bit of a rough stretch for the Phillies down the road. But, you know, if they get that swagger back and don't lose multiple games, then they're in. Will they go far? I don't know, because now they're on pace to face the St. Louis Cardinals. Although, I'm thinking back to 2011 when the Cardinals spoiled their season. And I'll say to this day, I thought the 2011 Phillies should have won the World Series. Had they not fallen to St. Louis in that first round, I think they would have. So maybe the Phillies can return the favor and knock off the Cardinals. All right, well, that's going to do it for me. As I said, let's go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Woo! Let's go 3-0, baby. Oh, one more thing. I kind of like the new text logo for the Eagles. It's pretty plain simple, but I still like it. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I got to go to bed. I got to work in the morning. Peace out, everybody. And bleed green, Eagles fans. Let's go Birds. Yeah!